For nearly 20 years now, the world's top windsurfers have been travelling the globe, pushing their skills to the very edge on the PWA World Tour, tracking down the most awesome conditions with the gnarliest wave spots in places like Maui, Fiji and Western Australia. This year we're going somewhere new. It may not have palm trees, but what the Dingle Peninsula in southwest Ireland does have is the most challenging and changeable surfing conditions out there. Once the secret of Brandon Bay was out, the word spread fast, attracting the sport's biggest names. Castle Gregory is about to witness a windsurfing war. To have a chance at the World Wave title, any challenger has got to face the Great Eight.
When I started with wooden booms and a giant plastic board and a wooden mast base, it was, you know, really a dinosaur compared to what we're using now, but it was still a lot of fun.
Robbie Nash, king of windsurfing. He was the original overall world champion of the shortboard PWA type style of competitions that we have today. He's very relaxed about the whole deal. He knows how to talk to people. When I was a kid, we made my dreams come true, I suppose.
I specialize in big wave riding, so for me, I can look at that and go like, yep, this is a good place.
Anders Bringdahl, to me, he's probably the guy who I most respect for riding Jaws, probably one of the biggest waves in the world. His tall, blonde hair, and I know the chicks definitely like him. Quite cool on the beach. Yeah, he's a nice guy, very nice guy.
Okay, I'll give you the truth. It's about the money. It's all about money.
Josh Stone, he's sort of a one-off, a really fun sort of guy. He's always trying to enjoy himself. He's so optimistic. Does a lot of travelling, a lot of competitions. He's won the freestyle for the last 2 years in a row. He's a very good wave solo as well. Yeah, he's an unusual character.
You're out there with nature, and I mean, it's just you and the ocean and the wind, and it's a really, you can really connect with it.
Francisco Goya is a really nice guy. Never got a bad thing to say about anybody. He's never really had the results that he's sailing really deserves. He's sort of quite dedicated now. Last year or so, he's got himself sort of a coach and trainer, really trying to get his mind pointing in the right direction. He won Gran Canaria last year in sort of 50 knots of wind, which is pretty radical. But he just, you know, puts his head down, plugs away, and tries to do the best he can.
I connect and find my rhythm, get in rhythm with the waves, and you know, you can go out and have a good 8 minutes, or you can go out and have a nightmare. Yeah.
Scott McKershaw, very good wave rider. Gets in his van, loads his windsurfing gear up with his girlfriend Anne-Marie. They'll look at the weather map in Perth and they go, right, it's going to be really good. Jump in his car, 5 in the morning, start driving. That's his life. He doesn't need any materialistic things. He's doing it to search for the best wave, the best conditions.
Personally, I hope for big waves and strong winds, since that's what I prefer and I do best in. And as the prospects are, it could be a good week for me.
Bjorn Dunkerbeck, he's an amazing sailor. He's, what, I think 12, 13 times world champion. Extremely focused, very self-driven and self-motivated. Some people think he's quite a cold character, maybe rude at times. If anything, he's probably a little bit shy. The thing for Bjorn is to win, that's it. Nothing else really matters so much.
I got into porn about 11, 12 years ago. I was fairly young. No,
Jason Polico, one of my best friends, he's been 2 times world champion. He's good at everything he does. Very serious, very fierce competitor, very competitive. And you could both be dying to go to the toilet and he just wants to beat you to the door. I mean, not because he wants to go to the toilet first, just because he wants to beat you then. The more dangerous it is, the more he enjoys it, the more he sort of relishes in that sort of position, and that's when he sort of stands out most. But then I guess there's me, Nick Baker. Sailing from Britain, last year I upset the locals by winning the legendary Aloha Wave Classic and finished 2nd in the world. This year I want to annoy the locals in Maui again and win the World Wave title. But believe me, it's going to be tough.
This is a relaxing day. Today's a day to get accustomed to the cold weather. You're there swimming in the water, catching a few waves. You know what I'm saying?
no matter what you do, if you work in an office or whatever you do for a living, you get out in the water on the ocean and you come back with a complete clean mind and you just feel happy. And if you had a problem before, it's definitely washed away afterwards.
Sometimes in this society, it's like it's too comfy, you know? The clothes get warmer, the cars get more comfortable, everything gets more and more comfy. When you're out there and it's rough, you really get connected with the animal. It's a pretty pure sport. We're just using the energy of the wind and, you know, and the waves.
Well, wave sailing is going out and doing wave rides and wave jumps. It's really the purest form of the sport, what everybody wants to do, but unfortunately you can't do it everywhere because you've got to have pretty decent conditions to do so. You know, wave conditions like we do here and in Hawaii and in a few other places in the world.
When I come to the beach, I look to the flags. Flags and trees determine where the wind's coming from. If the flags are pointing this way, the wind's coming from that way. So that's a simple tip. If it's blowing onshore, it means the wind is blowing onto the shore. And if it's blowing offshore, it's blowing off the shore. And then it can blow for two different directions. It's either starboard or port. Today is port tack onshore. Wind. It's complicated. It's very complicated. You gotta keep it simple.
Every sailor has a preferred wind direction. The Aussies port tack, that's wind from the left. Me and the Maori boys favour starboard. It's a bit like being left or right-handed. The thing about Ireland is, the wind can go either way, which can make it real interesting.
I had no idea it looked like this. I mean, I'm gonna go home to my friends in Sweden and I'm going, you guys are idiots. Wake up. You know, now I'm the clever one.
I mean, a lot of guys, I think the European guys are blown away because, I mean, if you look at a map, it's pretty obvious you're going to have really good conditions up here because you've got, you know, the furthest point out in the Atlantic and there's low pressures going by all the time.
This is pretty real, the whole thing, the culture, the landscape, the ocean, the weather. I mean, it changes from 5 knots to, I don't know, 50, 60 knots.
And I've heard rumors, and everybody talks, oh yeah, Hawaii size. I'm like, yeah, right. And so we drove up the first day, and we're like kind of tired, and pull up to the beach, and we're like, no way. And it's just peeling right. We're like, it was cool. It's good. I mean, this place, I have a feeling this place could really go off.
As night falls on the final day before the competition, there is nothing to do but wait and see what the weather brings. Day breaks on the first day of the Irish World Cup, and unfortunately for me, there's only a light side-shore port tack wind blowing. It's the first day of competition, so everybody's out there trying all their equipment, getting to see what's the right stuff for the day's conditions. So if you see everyone's coming in, they'll be changing boards, changing sails, changing fins. But despite the unpredictable conditions, the standard of sailing is incredibly high and the pressure is starting to build.
The judges, sometimes you don't know what the heck they're looking for, but in general they're looking for the guy who's sailing the most consistent but also the most radical. Wave riding is normally scored on surfing of the waves, the guy that uses the power of the wave the best, makes the most turns, does the most radical maneuvers on the wave, and then wave jumping. And there's a lot of different moves that we do in the air, forward loops and back loops and push loops and tabletops and various combinations of these different jumps.
After the first day, the competition has narrowed from 64 to just 16. I'm still in, but so are my 7 strongest rivals. Even though it appears the Great 8 deserve their reputation, tomorrow is another day. No matter how prepared you are, there's always one thing you can't control: Mother Nature. And when the wind drops, there's nothing to do but sit and wait.
had a crash in Hawaii December 4.
Yeah, that was gnarly. Did he tell you the story? Woohoo, baby!
We had this huge groundswell. It hit. It was 30 feet groundswell. So it hit this one break called Jaws in Maui. The faces would have been 60-foot faces.
And Anders one time goes super late on a big set, and I mean, it literally is like that. You see the wave there, and you see the little guy here, you know, he's like, whoop, and he goes for a turn and goes, coop, 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 poof.
I ate it in the bottom turn and crashed and got the whole thing.
Everybody was like, oh my God, Anders dead!
It's pitch black. You don't even know if you're gonna have enough air in your lungs or not.
And we see out of the very top of the next wave, this little white head pop up, bloop, and we saw this little Q-tip go back over the falls. Woo! Boom! We're all, oh my God, he's dead again!
And got nailed by a second wave.
I don't know if you've ever seen huge waves, but it's like almost impossible that he came up twice in two different waves.
Then I got rescued by a jet ski, so it was okay.
That was bad. Because it was so big and so critical, it just boom, boom, boom. We're like, oh, Swedish pie. We thought he was dead. Ah, it's good though.
As the frustrations of a wind-free day mount, I take to the hills, heading off for a spot of off-road driving, while my rivals enjoy the local crack. In future, I think I'll stick to windsurfing. And as the news of my mishap spreads, I soon become the source of much local amusement, and no doubt centre of many a future tale.
You walk in his purpose, you move my head, me, and get clear in your focus. While everybody's doing the wheels are in motion, and each wave always shivers. And the devil is holding your right hand.
No prize for guessing what title I won that day.
You're trying to